What you saw with Mike Evans yesterday was such an incredible highlight on not just Mike, but the franchise of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as a whole. That is the way that it's done. And when you see the Dallas Cowboys not playing Cooper Rush and he misses out on a six-figure bonus, and you see other teams around the league, and you see other teams in sports trying to pinch pennies and trying to act like, oh, woe is me, I don't have money. And then you see the Buccaneers going balls to the wall at all costs, trying to make sure that not only Mike gets the record, but he gets that $3 million bonus. That is the type of team that fans want to root for. Look at the excitement on the field from Mike's teammates when he broke that record. Look at the excitement in the stands at Raymond James Stadium yesterday when Mike broke the record. Just look at social media. Former players, former coaches, just fans of other teams talking about how cool it was that even though the Buccaneers had the game in the bag, they still trotted out their offense and threw a pass to Mike. So he was able to get the 5 yards, to get 1,000 yards for 11 straight seasons. He hasn't had a year in the National Football League where he didn't pick up 1,000 yards. And I know some people are going to slight it because it's 17 games. I could give two shits whether you want to slight him or not. That's your prerogative. That says a whole hell of a lot more about you than Mike Evans. The fact of the matter is that he did it, and nobody else has done it. Nobody else in the NFL. When you're comparing him to guys like Randy Moss and Jerry Rice, fit the gold jacket right now. But just think about this Buccaneers organization as a whole. Just a couple of years ago, where people are looking at this team as the laughingstock of all of sports, the lowest winning percentage out of the four major leagues. When you're talking about a team that used to get their games blacked out. And now you have a GM and a staff that care about building a roster from within, building it through the draft, rewarding your veteran players that have shed their blood, sweat, and tears to put a winning product on the field for your team, for your fan base and for the people in the Tampa Bay area. You do not think twice about spending your money to be able to go to a Buccaneers game right now. You don't, because you know that Baker's going to give it everything he's got. You know that you're going to see Mike Evans, that's a future Hall of Famer. You know you're going to see a guy like Levante David, who, even though he's in his mid-30s, he's still running around like a maniac trying to make plays. He's going to be in the Ring of Honor one day. And then, you see two young studs, Winfield and Wirfs, and rookie classes that every single year they contribute to the product. And again, 4 years in a row, they've won the division. They've made the playoffs 5 straight years. The leadership for this team is exemplary. What Jason Light has done does not get talked about enough, and it shouldn't just get talked about yesterday. And it's not just about how he treats Mike Evans and Levante David, even though we don't see that from other teams. The way he's been able to draft, the way he's been able to keep guys here, the way that he's invested in this team, that is success in so many more levels than just wins and losses. We know that there's only one team that's going to win the Super Bowl every year. Just the name of the game. Just the name of the game. But to be competitive every single year, to know that you can invest in the team because the players are going to be around, to know that you got guys that are willing to do whatever it takes to win. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have gone from a laughingstock to a team that you're proud to be a fan of. It's amazing. And you could say that it's Tom Brady. You could say that it's Bruce Arians. You could say it's Jason Light. It's everybody. It is everybody that has been involved with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers the last 5 years. What a dramatic turnaround. You want to talk about from worst to first. There's never been a better worst to first in all of sports than these guys. 5 years in the playoffs. Not the Eagles, not the 49ers, not the Lions, not any of these other, not the Dallas Cowboys, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Thank God Tom was here. Thank God Bruce Arians was here. But the guys that are here after them are still carrying the torch. They're holding it high, and they're one of the more respected teams around the league. And I love watching this Bucs team. I love it. Sometimes it's frustrating, but isn't that what makes sports great? You just turn it on, you don't know what you're going to see. But I know no matter what, even in the games that they lost this year, go back to some of the games they lost, battling to the bitter end. Did they have one game this year where they weren't like striving to the very end to try to win the game? I mean, you could argue that the worst game they had was against Denver. You look at the Denver Broncos, that was the one game where you look at it, I was like, all right, they lost by 19. The Ravens, they lost by 10, okay? But they were in that game, and they battled back. Same thing with the Falcons, the overtime game. The Chiefs, they took them to overtime. The San Francisco 49ers, all those missed kicks by Jake Moody, he finally made one at the end, but the Bucs battled back in that one. Even the Cowboys game, they didn't play well in the first half. They turned the football over in the second. They had a chance to win that game. This Bucs team, it is incredible to be able to watch this club and to be able to say that just a couple of years ago, they had the lowest winning percentage in all of sports, and now they've made the playoffs for the 5th straight year. Amazing. It's insane. It's insane. And again, going back to what happened with Mike Evans yesterday, I was down in the tunnel when Mike caught the pass, and you could feel Raymond James shaking. People were losing their mind. And I'm a big believer in, you could say that you're a great person all you want, but it's what other people say about you. It's the joy that other people have in your success that speaks volumes over not just what kind of player you are, but what kind of person you are. You're talking about a guy that's a nominee for the Walter Payton Man of the Year, which I think is the best award to get as an individual in all of sports, because that is an award that is vetted. You look at you're talking about guys. I remember Andrew Whitworth, offensive lineman, won it years ago, and they were talking about the amount of charities, not the amount of charity work, the amount of charities that he was involved in. That means you're going above and beyond just what you're doing on Sundays. And I've had this conversation with Derek Brooks and Martin Gramatica, and our guy Ian Beckles is going to join us here in a minute. That was one thing that Tony Dungy preached. Using your platform for more than just being a football player. And whether this team had ups and downs in the last 2 decades or so, you have still seen that, whether it's the offensive linemen getting together, whether it's the linebackers giving two new cars last week. This Buccaneers team, led by a guy like Mike Evans, this is a team that you want to look at and go, I want to model my franchise after. Isn't that crazy? That is wild to think after so many years of futility. But now you look at him and you go, yeah, okay, I'm with that. Mike Evans is that guy. He is. And when we went outside that locker room before we were able to be allowed to get let in yesterday, you could hear the team celebrating through those walls that I know they probably soundproofed the hell out of them to make sure that nobody hears what's going on. But they were losing their minds celebrating Mike Evans, who aptly so got the game ball for once again 1,000 yards for the 11th straight year. And if you go back to some of the videos that I took yesterday, I did this after Levante David picked up 1,500 tackles weeks ago when he became the second player in Buccaneers franchise history after Derek Brooks to accomplish that feat. But yesterday I walked around to different guys, and I wanted to ask them about Mike Evans. And when you listen to Tristan Wirfs and you listen to Jalen McMillan and Payne Durham and Devin Culp and Shaq Barrett, just listen to the words that they have to say about Mike Evans. As much as it is about him as a player, listen to what they say about him as a man, as a friend, as a teammate. Listen to what Payne Durham has to say, and with Devin Culp, 2 young guys, years 2 and a rookie year respectively. Listen to what they say about a guy like Mike Evans and how he treats them. There's no looking down on you because you're a rookie and you haven't made it here. Devin Culp said the first guy that showed him love on the sideline last week after his first NFL catch was Mike Evans. That tells you all you need to know.